The shooting guard position, the position that plays right next to the point guard in the backcourt. From guys like Dwayne Wade, James Harden in his early years, Kobe Bean Bryant, Michael Jordan, the list can go on the amount of really good players that play this position. And that's no different from even today's game. So today, we're going to be ranking the top 10 shooting guards for the 2025-2026 NBA season. But before we even start ranking these players, I do want to get some house cleaning things out of the way first. Just like in my last video about point guards, essentially the same rules apply to the shooting guards as well. Players who are expected not to come back from injury will not be on this list. Players who were injured last year but played towards the end of the season and in the playoffs will be on this list. This list is a combination of what the player looked like last year and what the potential upcoming season will look like. Just because one player is one spot above someone else doesn't mean that there's a big gap between the two. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button because it does help the channel grow, and comment down below your own list of your top 10 shooting guards going into the 2025-2026 NBA season. But before we even get started with the actual top 10 list, I do want to go through a list of honorable mentions that I do have. My first honorable mention is Dyson Daniels. He had a career year last year. He was basically also in Defensive Player of the Year candidacy, but the one thing that does hold him back from being on this list is the fact that he doesn't really have it on the offensive end just yet. It does feel like if he were to be in a playoff situation, he would kind of get played off the floor, kind of similar to Josh Giddey a few years ago with the OKC Thunder. And if he can improve his shooting and still play the same defense, I'm pretty sure that he's going to make the top 10 list next year. My next honorable mention is Tyler Hero. He was really able to find his game last year. He's a really good pick and roll player slash playmaker. He can't be considered a point guard. I kind of consider him a combo guard, and plus because he's going to be sharing the floor with Davion Mitchell later on this season, I do feel like it is best appropriate to put him on the shooting guard list instead of the point guard list. He was also the only reason last year that the Heat had one close game against the Cavaliers, and that was because of him. And obviously he's not going to be on the list because he is going to miss the start of the season, so that's why I didn't include him on here. At number 10, we have Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is actually my favorite role player in the NBA, and he really is one of the best all-around defenders in the league as well. He does all the dirty work on the court. He's a respectable shooter, especially he was in the playoffs. In the regular season, his shooting numbers didn't look great, but in the playoffs with the smaller sample size, he did elevate his game just like a lot of other players do. And to be able to guard people like from Jamal Murray all the way down to Jokic really does speak volumes about how good of a player he really is. I still cannot believe that the Thunder got him for basically nothing. At number 9, I have Austin Reeves. He's a really good number 2 and number 3. He's a really great shooter in general, from the mid-range to close up, 3-point, you name it. When he was the best player in the lineup, meaning that there was no Luka or LeBron, he showed a lot of flashes of being able to carry the workload. And he is one of those players that's easily adaptable to his role. Like, he knows when to be a number 2 and when he has to be a number 3. The one big issue with him, though, that I feel is that he does need to work on his defense. If he does that, then he would obviously be able to rise up way more on this list. He is also playing with LeBron and Luka, and because of that, he probably won't ever be the number 1 option, which is good because he really does know how to play his role correctly. At number 8, I have Mikal Bridges. He wasn't amazing last year, but he was still pretty solid. He's still a really good defender, and he does get stops when it really does matter. His mid-range game is really solid, but I do feel like the one thing he really does have to improve on, which is kind of one of his biggest weaknesses, is that he doesn't really finish at the rim appropriately. And by that, I mean he takes a lot of close shots, and by close shots, I don't mean layups and dunks. And I'm really hoping that this year he'll actually be a better, more solid player. And the Knicks gave up about 4 first-round picks for him. And right now, it doesn't really feel like he's worth those 4 first-round picks. But hopefully, you know, he'll be able to step his game up and really prove that this year. At number 7, I've got Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane was a guy with Ja being hurt last year. He kind of had to carry the playmaking responsibilities in Memphis. He did look pretty solid with his playmaking, but it's probably going to be a secondary thing that he's going to be doing because he's got Jalen Suggs right next to him. He's a really solid shooter, and by that, I mean he's not a guy that just has to catch and shoot. He's able to create his own shot if needed. Also, he was taking a lot of really far shots last year, and making them too. I think because of the way that the Magic offense is set up with Paolo and Franz and Jalen Suggs, I think he'll have an easy time adapting to his role. Not like his role is going to be really complicated at all, but you know, he's a guy that, like, if they really do need another playmaker on the court, he is that guy that can fill those shoes. But I think that he's going to be more used as sort of a spot-up shooter, or just a guy that's going to be able to get his own shot off, which is what the Magic really do need. At number 6, I have Derek White. And boy, I kind of feel like Derek White could literally range anywhere from the 6th spot to like the 4th spot. He's my favorite role player right next to Alex Caruso, and it kind of does feel like the way he got to Boston is kind of similar to the way that Alex Caruso got to the OKC Thunder. Throughout the last few years, it really does feel like he's kind of outplayed his contract, and I'm really happy about that. He also does feel like a better shooting version of Alex Caruso. Like, he can really shoot from anywhere, and he's just so versatile on both ends of the floor. He's also a really good playmaker. I feel like having him and Drew Holiday in the backcourt the last 2 years in Boston was really helpful, because while his role was kind of 3-and-D in a way, no, he could still play make as well. And I think because of the injury to Jason Tatum and the loss of Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, basically a lot of the Celtics main core, he's going to have a bigger role in the offense this year, and I can't wait to kind of see what that looks like. At number 5, I've got Amen Thompson. This dude is an athletic freak. He's amazing in transition. He was one of my favorite players from his draft, him alongside his brother Asar, and he is actually one of the only people on this list that doesn't have a consistent jump shot but is still able to make the top 5. He's just so offensively versatile without a three-point shot, and Ime Udoka has done a really good job of being able to implement him in an offense where that is possible. His defense is top-notch. Like, he is just an amazing defender, and it really does feel like he can guard anyone on the floor, 1 through 5, kind of similar to Alex Caruso in a way. Although Amen is on the shooting guards list, there is a big chance that he does end up playing point guard if Reed Shepherd doesn't pan out. Because of the injury to Fred VanVleet, he's going to be thrust into that role most likely, or Houston is just going to have a lot of versatile people be able to handle the ball as the point guard. But for right now, I kind of consider Amen a shooting guard in the Rockets offense. At number 4, we've got Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, for the last few years, I think because he was stuck in the purgatory known as Chicago, and now he's in another purgatory called the Sacramento Kings, I do really think that people kind of undervalue or underrate Zach LaVine. But like, boy, if you look at his stats from last year, it really felt like he was shooting the skin off the ball. He's really good at being able to create his own shot and being able to score without having to handle the ball. His defense was also a lot better than I expected. He's not a great rebounder, but like, his defense was actually solid compared to what I was expecting last year. He still also does have his athleticism intact. It's not like he's attacking the basket like he used to. He kind of has a little bit of versatility between the two now. And yeah, like I said before, he really does feel like he's underrated because he was playing in Chicago and now he's playing with the Kings. I guess the one really big weakness, aside from the fact that he can still improve on his defense, is the fact that his playmaking also does need improvement as well. But Zach LaVine is just like, an elite scorer, and I think that even though he's going to be in Sacramento, I think he's going to still be an elite scorer and hopefully get off this team. Like, if Zach was on Denver or on the Lakers, oh my god, people would not stop talking about him. At number 3, we've got Mr. Devin Armani Booker. That's such a smooth name to say, but I feel like everyone knows what Devin Booker has been about, aside from the last 2 years. It really does feel like the last 2 years, because of the additions of Bradley Beal and KD, he kind of had to take a step back. But now with the team basically being reset, he can kind of go back to normal like he was 2 years ago. Devin Booker has been in the league for at least 10 years, and I really don't think that people need an explanation on why he's great. His three-point shooting is good, his mid-range is basically his bread and butter, and he's also a really good playmaker, i.e. kind of a shout out to Kobe Bryant in a way. I know that a lot of people are always like, oh, you ain't Kobe, but like, I honestly think that like Devin Booker being a secondary guard and being able to play make the way that he does kind of does remind me a little bit of Kobe. He'll never be Kobe, obviously, but like, I think that his playmaking is really solid for an off guard, or like, I guess a secondary guard. His defense is solid. He really did show that in the Olympics, but obviously, like, I'm not expecting him to be a lockdown defender. It can still be improved, and if he does kind of like improve his defense to like not an all NBA level, but like kind of close to all NBA, I do think that he would be a very, very complete player. Not like he's already not, but you know what I'm talking about. At number 2, I've got Mr. Donovan Mitchell. Ever since he's got to Cleveland, he's been really good. Not like he wasn't good in Utah, but like when he got to Cleveland, I feel like his game kind of stepped up another level. Even when Garland wasn't playing well the last few years before last year, I kind of do feel like he was really carrying the offense, and he's just a guy that can score at all 3 levels. His playmaking and passing is really underrated. Like, if you actually do look at his highlights, he's got a lot of plays where he does make really, really nice passes. He's got like that baseball athleticism in him for his passes in a way, and like he'll always put up numbers in the playoffs. Like, no matter what, he's just a natural born scorer in my eyes. I guess like his biggest weakness though would be his defense, because he's really small. He's like, what, 6'1"? He has kind of beaten the Dwayne Wade comparison in a way, because he is able to consistently shoot the 3, or I guess you could consider him kind of a modern day Dwayne Wade, which I think is like, kind of accurate in a way. But yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell overall, like, I think he is a better scorer than Devin Booker. But don't get me wrong, honestly, I feel like 2 and 3 can really be switched up because Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell are really close. And at number 1, I've got Mr. Anthony Edwards. I really don't know what to say about this guy. It really does feel like he's improving every year. He had his best 3-point shooting year last year, but that was only because he took so many threes. I think he was averaging like 10 a game last year. He finishes at the rim like a monster. We've all seen his highlight dunks and everything like that. And I think one of the biggest things that he does have over Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell is that he's actually a really solid defender. He's not Jaden McDaniels type of defense, but like, you know, he's really solid at his defense. But I also guess like his biggest weakness is the fact that he does sometimes overshoot. His mid-range shooting for a shooting guard does kind of really need some work as well. And I do think that the one thing that he does lack that the other two do have is kind of his playmaking ability. But other than that, it kind of does feel like Anthony Edwards is just this athletic shooting freak. Like, he's just, God, I really don't know what to say about him. He's just really, really good. He's not like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm so consistent because my life is consistent. But like, you know, and Edwards is just like such a jokester and everything. I really do enjoy kind of his like media presence, even though he has a very big lack of media training. I don't know. Anthony Edwards is just one of those players that I feel like is such a good athletic, like, he's just really good. And basically that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and small forwards tomorrow. Okay, bye.